Over the next 20 minutes, you will get an absolute clinic on one of the best top wrestlers in the NCAA right now. Ryder Downey, he's the 157-pounder for UNI, and his CrossFit series is spectacular. And we're going to go over 41 tilts of his so you can learn every nuance, what he does. He's also probably the best wrestler currently in the NCAA at standing tilts as well. With his CrossFit series, mainly the Easton, but he'll also go reverse Easton, whatever you want to call it, when you go Easton the opposite direction. In the trapdoor tilt as well, which is pretty underutilized by people who like the CrossFit series. So the reason I wanted to highlight it is I already have so many videos on this channel on the CrossFit. Just posted one about Tanner Sloan. But the main way to get it is tight waist chop or head lever. The series that Spencer Lee, Mikael McGee, Real Woods use. But he does it completely different. He likes to go claw thigh pry, and he reaches to the far elbow. He does this consistently. He doesn't always have to go claw thigh pry. It can just be he has a tight waist and he reaches to the far elbow, reaches to the far wrist, but he doesn't get the arm that he's on the side of. He always goes for the far arm. And I believe this can be combined really, really well with the typical tight waist series. That's where I see the most potential value with it at. So I'm going to show his high school clips first and then his college clips, and that would do a good job of showing you guys some of his progressions. So again, he reaches to the far elbow, just pulls the arm in from that far elbow position. And his tilt of choice is the Easton tilt. Again, also, you guys will see for my newer wrestlers, notice how when he rolls through one time and doesn't get the tilt, he doesn't change grips. No, he just goes to the Easton again. Claw thigh pry. Reaches to the far elbow. Pulls the arm in, slides down to the cross wrist. Standing tilt. Nice way to make him carry your body weight. And he also did, this is the only 2-on-1 tilt he hit on the opposite side arm. This is not a part of his system. It's something he just hit. I doubt he can hit it against a high-level opponent like of equal skill level because he really does it, but it's there. And it's a cross wrist, right? He also gets a lot of his tilts from hand fighting, or grip fighting, I should call it. So notice his opponent is trying to fight his grip off, and he reaches with his right arm to get that left wrist. And the opponent is trying to peel. That's just one of his main tactics of getting the cross wrist. Right here, he loses it. Just reaches to the far arm, far elbow. Easton. This is a pretty long clip, so there's something else about this clip other than his first Easton. Let's go over gets his points. So he has the nivers right now. I believe he's going to set it up to use it to get the cross wrist. A lot of time when he has that nivers, the opponent tries to peel. They use their left hand to try to peel. Yep, right here. You guys saw that? All these things are important. Notice he brings that left hand in to try to peel. As soon as the bottom guy brings his left hand in to try to peel the hand off, Downey brings in his right hand to grab the left wrist, and now he has his cross wrist of choice. Loses it, and then he just reaches for elbow. Reaches all the way across. Not the way I typically do or teach you to do it. Now, I like this clip. This is where the value is. I believe the Easton is one of the main moves that you should show to both sides. After this video, the only Easton video I have planned on a particular wrestler is Keegan Bassett, because I like how he does it to both sides. But also Aaron Seidel, Virginia Tech commit, and one of my favorites, Jacob Cardenas, also have really good Easton series. But a lot of it is based on like things we've already done before. What Ryder Downey does is different than guys I've already shown. But the side you like, I believe that the tight waist chop, head lever series, tight waist chop, is the best way to get to a cross wrist. That's what Spencer Lee does. That's what I like to do, and I believe it works really, really well. However, that's onto one side of the body. I believe tight waist chop to one side, and then far arm to the other arm. And you can really do that if you can tilt to both sides. So here you see him use a tight waist chop. And when he doesn't get the cross wrist, don't know how really hard he was fighting. He does get the cross wrist. Notice the opponent is using their left hand to try to peel that tight waist off, right? Notice what they're doing with their left hand. This is going to set them up. You see how his left hand comes in? Right, so the opponent is going to use their hand to try to peel. Downey right hand comes in, grabs the left wrist right here. One more time. Comes in, grabs the wrist. He's really good at grip fighting. And the second you reach back, reach underneath to try to peel or grip with your hands instead of elbow fighting or just getting up to your feet, he's going to get that cross wrist. Right here, has a tight waist. Knows that his opponent, the bottom guy, brings his hand in to try to peel off. Right? Right here, brings his hand in to try to peel off. That's going to get him in trouble. Right here. He's going to come underneath and grab it. Right now he has the wrist. Now he has the cross wrist that he wants. I mean, for someone, if you can tilt to both sides like a Keegan Bassett can, this is really dangerous. This is extremely dangerous, and I think it's a great addition. I think it's unrealistic to expect somebody to be really good at the tight waist on both sides of the body. But this way, with this series, if you combine it with the tight waist series, you can have a way to get to the cross wrist of both arms that I feel like are congruent. And one can help set up the other. So he hold on to the hand. He's going to bring his own hand down, grab the wrist. Right into the Easton. Now notice how hard he fights for this, right? He rolls through one time, doesn't get it. He still is not getting any swipes at all. Comes through, only gets one swipe. Pulls him back, loses it, one swipe again, pulls him back again, and he's finally getting swipes. Also, notice this. Something that he did not do in high school that would have made his cross wrist series even better. A good thing to look at. He's really struggling right now trying to pull that opponent's arm. Pull his bicep, pull his elbow down. What's something that he can do that will hold the opponent in place a lot easier? He can thread his fist in, thread his arm in for the bar to get the reinforced bar, and it will be a lot more secure. And you guys know that the rebar goes alongside the Easton if you look at Spencer Lee, Tanner Sloan, Real Woods. So just something to add. The guy's trying to hand fight, grip fight, and him trying to grip fight as he's standing up is the thing that gets his left wrist caught by Downey's right hand. Brings him down, right into the Easton. Rolls again. So Downey doesn't have the same cross wrist system as a Tanner Sloan. Spencer Lee, they have multiple. Well, Tanner Sloan self-growth, they have the rebar, the 2-on-1, and the Easton. Everything that he does comes from the Easton grip, right? But from that Easton grip, he can take it in the opposite direction, which he didn't start doing really until college. And he also does what I call the trapdoor tilt. Because I saw David Taylor do a video on that many, many years ago. You can look it up on YouTube. But you'll see it and hear what I'm talking about. So claw, thigh pry, reaches down to the far elbow. And sometimes it's on the elbow, tricep. Sometimes it's on the forearm and he just reaches for the wrist. Keep that in mind. Don't be so robotic about it. And that's the trapdoor tilt that I'm talking about. A lot of times you get to that Easton, they will post that foot out. If their chest is relatively up, if their chest is facing forward, it's facing down to the mat, it's harder. But you see how he has his foot posted up, making the Easton harder? He just goes backwards. He just takes the opponent backwards and does a tilt that way. Again, far elbow brings it in, just takes it backwards. Doesn't even worry about rolling through. Cal Shoop, I believe his name was really good at that as well. Claw, thigh pry, reaches to the far elbow. He just does it to break him down, right? He just does it to break this guy down. Claw, thigh pry, reaches to the far arm, just pulls it in. Heel block right into the tilt. Now we have a lot more tilts to get to, so I'm not going to try to slow it down too much, but I'm going to try to make you guys pay attention to it. Again, he uses the trap door. The opponent is going to post that foot heavy to defend against the Easton. Besides trying to force a roll through, you can still force their knee down from this position, but sometimes you do this enough, you kind of feel what's there. He just does trap door to break him down, because as soon as the guy comes back down, he doesn't repost his foot. Now he's on his knee. And now that he's on his knee, now you can just go basic Easton, which is the foundation of your crossword series. So he used the trap door the threat of the trap door to break his opponent down and get that and take away that post. Claw thigh pry, reaches right to the wrist, instantly gets the wrist. Trap door. Right. Notice that foot is posted heavy. So just go right behind the person. Having this series gives you options, right? Knowing more techniques won't result in less points. So standing tilt, watch what he does. Watch how he blocks the heel. The heel block is the most used, his most common way to hit standing tilts. Again, he can thread the bar pretty easily right here, but doesn't need to. Let's go to arm, reaches, far elbow, pulls it straight in, backdoor tilt again. Backdoor tilt or trapdoor tilt again when he posts that foot. He's on his knee right now. Defend against the Easton, he posts that foot, right? Just go right behind the guy. So if you're going to learn the Easton, I think the trapdoor tilt is a really good tilt to learn as well. I've seen a lot of elite guys good at the Easton do this. Now, this is the last high school match. This is Iowa State Finals, his senior year. He's never won state. He's going up against Robert Avila, who was a 3-time state champion going for his 4th title. He's down 5-0. Think about that. Down 5-0 against a 3-time state champ going for his 4th. Look, watch that elbow fight. Great technique to use when guys get a cross wrist. So he goes claw thigh pry or claw tight waist, reaches for the far elbow. When he goes down to the cross wrist, successfully gets the cross wrist. Watch this elbow fight. This is what you want to do in your bottom. And Robert actually gets his hand free. He gets the arm free. Right? You see that left hand is free. Back down to the mat. Okay. So I wanted to show that to show you that elbow fight does work against people who also works against people who are great at the cross wrist. Just wanted to add that in there for my guys on the team. So claw thigh pry, reaches for the elbow. The second he reaches for the elbow and Robert tries to take the hand off the mat, all he does is just slip down to the wrist instead. That's it. That's all he's doing. Robert takes a hand off the mat, thinking it saves him, but that makes him slip down to the wrist, standing tilt. Watch what happens. Right here, heel, blocking the heel, blocking the heel, blocking the heel. Ends up getting a 2 count. Now it's 5-2. He needs another one. Watch how this wrist is just there. Just goes for it. Just goes for it, dude. He's elbow fighting, and then he reaches back for the leg. I mean, complete brain fart. Probably surprised that he got tilted up. Gave up a tilt. He's not thinking. His wrist is right there for the taking. This happens so much from like on mat wrestling. Easy cross wrist. Elbow fight. Just gives up on it, tries to reach back for the leg. That wasn't going to do anything. Ends up giving up another tilt. Now it's 5-5, forced overtime. Ryder Downey ends up winning overtime. I mean, highest level high school match, or one of the highest level, it's not who's number one, right? But one of the highest level high school matches you can have, it worked at that level as well. Now we're going to get into his collegiate career. And you will see some differences. Pretty easy tilt. You're going to see him introduce things like the reverse tilt, right? I guess I don't have an official name for it. You can call it a reverse Easton because it's the same grip. Doesn't really matter. I don't care what you call it. Claw thigh pry, far elbow. Notice what he does here. He blocks it right here. He uses his knee to block it and take him over there. That's also a good way to return somebody down to the mat. I do that a lot from rear standing when I have my hands locked around the waist. Same technique. Right there, watch what he did with his hand. Down on the forearm, below the elbow. Gets the cross wrist. Uses his feet to drive him over. The high arm, the arm above the chest doesn't do anything for you. You have to get that arm down to their chest. At least to their chest level, hopefully their belly, right? He's going to reach to the far elbow. Reach to the far elbow. Pulls it in. How much time? Okay, it's going to be in the 20s for sure. You see how he peels? This is important. Claw thigh pry. Guy tries to peel the thigh pry. That's what ends up making him give up the cross wrist. So this was great by Downey, but great by this guy for getting his arm inside, which pretty much nullifies the cross wrist. Just wanted to see that. Good reaction by Downey, but a great defense by this guy. Far elbow. Pulls up. The guy tries to take his hand off the mat. Watch what happens when this guy tries to take his hand off the mat. It just makes Downey's hand slip down to the wrist. He posts that foot heavy. Posts that foot to avoid the Easton. Doesn't save him. Just gives up the trapdoor tilt. You don't have to recreate the wheels, guys. These guys have the same reactions. It's the same few reactions. This is the match where he really started utilizing the reverse tilt as well. So reaches across. Pulls the arm in. He's going to show Easton and then take it in the opposite direction. Which, if you're good at the Easton, man, you see a lot of guys, Spencer Lee, Jacob Cardenas especially, who's good at the Easton, use this tilt a lot because they have to react so strongly to defend the Easton that they're setting themselves up to get taken in the opposite direction. Posting that foot. See how much he's posting that foot? This is also another move for when they post that foot a lot. Just taking the opposite direction. It's pretty much like a pseudo reverse, like a pseudo reinforced bar. Reaches across. Gets it. And the reason why he's so good at standing tilts because the way he's doing is not like the tight waist chop when you're constantly applying forward pressure. A lot of times there's no forward pressure, which is why they get up to their feet so easy. But he's concerned with catching it, getting the wrist and getting the cross wrist because once he's there, he's confident that he can tilt them even if they're on their feet. Notice what he does here. Notice what he does. Little details, but it goes a long way. Notice his feet. Steps in. You see how his right foot is going to step behind the heel of his opponent's right foot? Boom, blocks it. Just to break him down. Not right into the tilt, but once he's breaking down, the Easton is there. Now this guy does a good job, good fighting against the Easton. But all that loading is going to set him up for the reverse Easton. And he had him pretty good, but time ends up running out. But he had that tilt, right? One more second, and that's a 2 count. So I thought that was good to include. This is against Trevor Chumbley, who was at one point, ranked pretty highly from Northwestern. Beautiful standing tilt against a high-level opponent. Reaches over, grabs the wrist. Opponent gets to their feet pretty easy. See how he blocks the heel? Now he's flat right into the Easton. That's all you need. You don't always have to go right into the tilt. You're just getting them back down to the mat. See how he's threatening both? He goes Easton, then he goes reverse Easton, right? This guy don't know which way to hip down. He doesn't know which way to force himself to not go into. And he just goes back to the regular standard Easton. This would revolutionize your wrestling, guys. It really would. Being able to get back points is massive. Really doubling down on top this year. So he ends up getting the cross wrist. Notice the mat return. He blocks the heel. He steps in with his left leg, same side that he has the arm trapped on, and then he blocks the heel right into the Easton. instantly get the cross wrist again. On his forearm, just chilling. Cool. If you're going to wrestle your forearm, that's a free wrist. No problem. We have to notice these opportunities from the top position. And notice he doesn't do the Eastern again. He takes it in the opposite direction. Takes it in the opposite direction for the reverse Eastern. And if you know an official name for that move, I'm not calling it a cheap tilt. Cheap tilt is something else. Then let me know. We just to the far elbow. Again, notice how easy they get to their feet when this happens. You have to be good at standing tilts for this to do this series. We just to the far elbow. Now he's down to the wrist. Opponent stands up, blocks the heel. Steps in the left leg, sags his weight, blocks the heel. This person can't step back. Right into the tilt. I mean, this is more valuable than going to a clinic for 4 hours and maybe getting all the details, right? Maybe getting all the details. In my experience, that's not what happens. They're grip fighting here. He gets the Easton. The guy just brings his hand in. Easy way to get the cross wrist. He went into another two after that, but it wasn't really worth keeping into the video, in my opinion. Just a basic Easton. I mean, he's doing a great job collecting wrist. This guy just trying to peel. You see, he's using his left hand to peel, and that's when Downey reaches underneath. Just to get him down to the mat, into the Eastern. This is nice. He has a 2-on-1. Notice this, right? This is wrestling IQ as well. So he has a 2-on-1 on his opponent's right forearm. His opponent's gonna bring in his left hand to peel. As soon as he brings in his left hand to peel, watch Downey let go with his right hand to reach over and get that cross wrist, right? Very smart. But he doesn't score on this one. He does not score with this one. He eventually loses it. But he got to the cross wrist very smart, and it's going to pop up again later on in the match. Always notice things in your matches, guys. Don't be out there blindly wrestling. So again, watch what he does. He's going to claw. His opponent peels the claw. This gets him a 2-on-1. He's back to this 2-on-1 position on the right forearm. Same thing. Guess what his opponent's going to do? Same thing as last time. He's going to bring in his left hand to try to peel that 2-on-1. As soon as he does that, he's going to let go with his right hand to get the cross wrist. Downey does the same exact thing. And I believe this time he's able to capitalize on it. Yep. If you have a system, you know it works, don't give up on it just because it didn't work the first time in your match. People who are confident in their systems know that, but a lot of high schoolers and youth wrestlers be all over the place. Stick with what you're good at. Cross wrist, block the heel. Left leg in, blocks the heel, sags his weight, just to break him down right into the Eastern. Sometimes you'll go right back into the tilt. Sometimes you just break him back down so you can go into the Eastern. It doesn't matter 4 points or 4 points, or 2 points, 3 points, bad points or bad points. Claw thigh pride reaches for the wrist, pulls it in. Pretty basic Eastern. We only have a few more minutes of clips, about 2 to 3 more minutes. Far elbow. All right, chop. Right, I mean, those two series go well together. After the chop, what happens? He's resting on his forearm. Easy cross wrist. Easy cross wrist. Have to be looking for this stuff though. Don't be practicing this in the practice room all day and then having your coaches screaming it in the corner so the bottom guy can hear and he can say, "Oh crap, let me get off of my forearm." Right? Let me make sure to keep my wrist out. This is what this guy's looking for. Have to do that way too much. So notice this, same thing as well. He has like a half short hook type of thing on the shoulder, right? His opponent is going to try to peel it. When he tries to peel, this is what's going to give Downey access to his left wrist. And then he gets the cross wrist. He doesn't score on this exchange, I believe. But same thing as last time. Just because I said it didn't work that time doesn't mean it's not going to work. Or it did work. Okay, he did end up getting a tilt from there. He's going to do the same thing. And notice that he punches the bar as well, which he never did in high school, right? He punches the rebar to make him more secure. He's getting better. He added the reverse Easton when he got to college, as well as, okay, let me punch the rebar and not just try to pull all the time. Same thing. He's going to switch sides. Has like this half / short hook. His opponent's going to try to pull it the same way. Watch what happens. He's going to bring his hand down and grab the wrist. See that? Very basic stuff, man. He's going to bring his hand down, grab the wrist. Same setup. Same setup, man. Same exact setup to the cross wrist. Bottom guy didn't even notice how he gave up the cross wrist in the first clip. Didn't even notice how he gave it up. And that's how you end up making the same mistakes. This is another standing tilt. Claw, thigh pry, reaches down to the forearm, brings the wrist across. Easily gets up to his feet. The bottom wrestler. He easily gets up to his feet. That's going to happen all the time, guys. Blocks that heel. He blocks that heel. Right into the trapdoor tilt. Standing tilt. Goes straight back. Pulls that arm in. He's going to block the heel. Go straight back. And then last clip against Cody Chittum. They're both top 10 in the country right now. Number 6 and number 7 at the time I'm making this video. But it's 9-9 end of the third period. 20 seconds left to go. And Downey is going to end up hitting Chittum with a standing tilt to win the match. So wanted to show a high-level example against a very good wrestler. I like Cody Chittum a lot. High pace, good from underhooks, likes to drop whip over. So I really enjoy watching Cody Chittum. But Ryder Downey was able to beat him in this match 12-9 by getting a tilt at the very end. So Downey is very, 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 very good. I know it's long, but guys, I mean, you practice an hour and a half, 2 hours every day. This is a 30-minute video, right? And you just learn so much from here. You guys, if you like the cross wrist, I would suggest practicing this. Do you need to do this to be good at the cross wrist? No, Spencer Lee never did it. Real Woods never did it. But if you combine the tight waist chop, if you can do tilts to both sides, I don't see how this can harm your game at all. So glad you guys stayed to the end of the video. I know this one was a long one. I hope you found so much value in it. I'm going to be showing it to my guys. That's the reason I made it. And I will see you on the next video.